So the strategy that I used for my part in the project is called the Tea Party strategy, and it's meant to be an active strategy. So people are like moving around and everything else. And on their cards that they have, there are different things that they can talk about from the story. So they can do that with different students, and they'll be moving around the room. So teachers can use this as a pre-reading activity, so they can kind of like pull like new vocabulary words from the text that they think is important, or like place items like in order, so like events in order in which they happen. They can do that before, or they can treat it as an after reading activity, to where they list different things that happen in the story, like different passages, and they can have students just like talk about those with their classmates. I treated this as a post reading activity. So the first card that I did says, Lolo loves music. In fact, he met Abuela at a dance. Now they only dance on New Year's Eve, when we all stay up late and eat our 12 grapes, one for each month of our new year. Abuela smiles. Lolo closes his eyes and presses his head against hers. It's like they're somewhere else, gliding and spinning. So I chose that because I thought it was an important part from the book. So I would have students kind of talk about that with each other and what they thought about it. And yeah, the next one I chose, it's a quote, and it says, Lolo has had a disease for years, and you didn't tell me? He stares at the brain model, his face bright red. Yes, I push him, but he stands his ground. I shove him again as everything starts to make sense. Lolo's falls, his questions, how he wanders, his confusion, the day he almost hit Abuela. All along there had been a big secret in the Suarez family, and no one told me. So I felt like that was an important part, because that's where she learns about his disease, and she gets upset because she realizes her family has like hid it from her. So I thought that would be like an important thing for students to talk about with their peers. The next one is also a quote. It says, Are we ever going to send Abuela and Lolo to live there? Are they changing in that way? Mommy looks at me for a long time. Mercy. My eye begins its nervous creep. Are they? Everyone changes, mi vida. Even you are changing. There's no stopping that. But here's what I know for sure. Abuela and Lolo have us to help them, she says. You don't have to worry about that, at least not right now. So this is when Mercy goes with her mom to the hospital, and she sees like all those people, the older people in the home, and it kind of like resonates with her, like, oh my goodness, like Lolo could end up here. So I thought that would be a good talking point for students. The next one's kind of long, but it says, You were nice to help him up, even though he's your enemy, I tell Poppy. The first aid kit is still open in my lap. I've been trying to fit the pockets of gauze and rolls of tape back in place before shutting it in the glove compartment again. The bumps and sway in the van are making it tough. Poppy takes a swig of water. Anybody would do the same. Anyway, Cruz and I aren't really enemies, Mercy. We're in business. Each of us trying to get by, that's all. I gave him a look. He stole your guys. He shrugs. Nobody forced them to go work for him. They wanted jobs where they could earn the most money. Who can blame him? He drains his water bottle and crushes it in his hand before tossing it to the back. Cruz has never been my favorite person. I'll give you that. But an enemy, there's no sense in having those if we can help it. So this kind of like goes to show Mercy, like, hey, like, even though we have our disagreements, it's important that we just like look past things, like we gotta let it go. Yeah, so I thought that would be an important talking point. And then this one says, but there are other things that I wish for even harder than this bike, and I know I won't get them, no matter what. Important things like wishing that Lolo wasn't sick and that everyone could stay the same. Then again, staying the same means that Tia Ines might not have the chance to love Simon. It means Raleigh wouldn't go to college and get even smarter. It means that I wouldn't grow up at all. Staying the same could be just as sad as Lolo changing. I don't know what's going to happen next year. No one does. But that's okay. I can handle it, I decide. It's just a harder gear and I am ready. All I have to do is take a deep breath and ride. This is her reflecting on everything. Like, yeah, we all are changing, not just Lolo, but like me and Raleigh, and like there's nothing we can do about it. So she's just choosing to embrace it. So that's an important talking point that students can talk about with their peers. This one says, we put our heads close together as I take a selfie. When we check the picture, it's plain to see that neither of us looks great. My barrette has opened, and there are cracker crumbs on my chin. Tia's blouse has a stain near the collar. Abuela will probably say we don't look decent. I fiddle with the hair, with the color, and blanch us out to black and white. The picture looks totally different. Suddenly you notice what's important in the picture. Little lines around Tia's eyes. The tilt of my glasses. How our smiles are kind of the same, even though I never noticed before. What do you think? I asked. She looks at it and kisses my forehead. Throughout this book, Mercy is growing as a person as she's getting older, and she's understanding things. So I kind of feel like here she's starting to understand like the importance in life. So I felt like that would be important for students to talk about as well. This one says, nobody else at school lives with their whole family like we do at La Casitas. And brothers and sisters don't share rooms, so our friends might think we're weird or poor. Even though, what are you supposed to do if your house is small? Other people's houses seem to have more of what's fun, too. There was no pool in our backyard, just the one at the condos across the street that we used to sneak into when Donna Rosa loaned us her gate key. There's no Dance Central video game here, like at Hannah's. No Echo speaker that can search the web and answer your craziest questions like Rachel has. It's just plain here. Here Mercy's feeling really superior to her peers, and it's really sad, but I felt like that would be important for students to talk about. This says, my grandfather was sick for a long time, Lena says. At last, he had cancer. She hauls a container to the shelf. I miss him. Some days I miss Lolo too, I say. Even though he's still here. Strange, right? There's another pause. But strange can be okay, Lena says at last. It's not boring. Anyway, Hannah adds, I hate boring. This is awesome because it's like her friends are understanding and they aren't like looking down on her because she has a sick family member. They're like embracing it and trying to make her feel better. So as you can see, you can use the Tea Party strategy for many different things. You can use it with vocabulary words. You can use it with order of events. You know, it's kind of like whatever you want to do. It's just to get the students talking about the story or the text or whatever you're reading. So I think it's a great strategy to use, and it can be used for many things. So thanks.